Hello folks, welcome to another video. It feels like I've been absent for a while. Hasn't really been that long. Yes, so we're in the Microsoft Sim once again. Isn't this a beautiful vista with those colours, hey? 'Tis early morn, if you haven't guessed. Flying the TBM 930, which was broken. The mod was broken by SimObjects 9. Well, I found a fix to the mod, so I'm told. I've applied the fix. I'm going to see if it works. I know that it's not a complete fix and that the mod author, Mr. Muggs, will need to properly fix the mod, but I understand that Mr. Muggs is otherwise disposed, and I know a bit about that myself. Anyway folks, the plan today, shall we look at it? Why don't we do that? And here is the plan in little nav map. We begin our journey, folks, in the border town of Mildura down here in Victoria. What's the weather doing while we're here? 280 at 5, QNH 1019, all good. So Mildura, northeasterly direction up to a place you may have heard of called Brisbane, where the weather is not great from what I understand. Yeah, so showers of rain, got some low cloud, still reporting VFR, but we'll see when we get there. We'll get there in about 2 hours and 30 minutes from now, folks, according to Little Nav Map. I've said before how much I love this application. I basically don't sim without it now. It's fantastic. So that's the route. It's pretty direct. 2 hours and 30 minutes. Looks like we got some nice tailwinds, do we? Flight plan cruise. You can put a little, show the wind on the map. Yeah, we've got a nice, pretty nice tailwinds all the way into Brisbane. What Little Nav Map doesn't show, that I think the other one does, well, the other one being Sim Toolkit Pro, it sort of shows a weather overlay. And this is probably the point that someone who's an expert in Little Nav Map says, well, it does show the weather in terms of what I'm talking about is cloud and precipitation, turbulence. Is there a way of showing that? Weather. It's just got wind. Yeah. Unless I'm missing something. If I am, and I often do, folks, let me know in the comments. That's the flight plan even. Mildura to Brisbane, the TBM 930. I'll talk about the fix to the mod, show you what that's what that involves. We might talk about some recent aircraft releases as well, because there's been a couple of big ones hit the market. Let's go flying. Alright, let's make our way out to a runway of some description, folks. The wind is a westerly, light westerly at 5 knots. We'll head out in this direction. So SimObjects 9's been out for, feels like a couple of weeks. And I've seen people complaining about a loss of performance and stuff breaking. That's kind of par for the course. Stuff breaking, I mean. Loss of performance, I haven't noticed. Personally, and I feel very fortunate about that. Haven't done a lot of flying, it must be said. And a lot of my flying is, well, it's kind of boring in terms of I kind of fly the same aeroplanes. The same way, using the same add-ons. It's kind of, which may be contributing towards my lack of issues. Not that I'm complaining about it. Not at all. So we'll hang a right here. Runway 27 is the go. We'll get some flaps. We'll worry about the lights as we backtrack down to the bottom of 27 here in Mildura this morning. Beautiful morning. Been playing around with the filters, the NVidia filters here a little bit. I might take a look at that en route as well, just to if anyone's interested. I know not everyone has an NVidia card, so I won't labour the point. And I know not everyone flies on the PC either. I know I've got a few viewers who are Xbox simmers. And welcome to all of you, and thank you as always for your continued support. Thank you for the kind words in response to the last video I made, where I kind of said that real world would need to take priority for a while. Well, as it always does, to be perfectly honest. But it definitely has contributed towards a reduced production coming out of the old YouTube factory for the old fella, and that will probably continue for a little while. But I'm still around, still kicking, as they say. Rumours of my death have been greatly exaggerated. So, heading bug aligned. We'll worry about those pitot and stall heaterings as well. Needed to worry about our lights, which are up here. So landing lights on, landing light on, strobe can come on. We probably should worry about our transponder. We might go all the 6s on that. As my little one decides she's got to chime in, there is absolutely no doubt about it. She never fails to deliver. I think we're good, folks. We've got flaps set, we've got trims okay, we've got our heading bug aligned, although it's not exactly aligned down the centre line of the runway, is it? That's maybe what my little dog's trying to tell me. Align your heading bug, dopey. We'll take off to the west, right turn, first waypoint is Igippa, and then we'll be on our way up to Brisbane. So let's do this thing. Introduce some juice, more juice, and away we go. And power should be pretty much set. Wait for that torque to build, be in the 90s. Perfect. Lovely. Airspeed's alive, and we are heading down runway 27 here at Mildura. You can probably rotate around about here, which we do, or she wants to go. Positive rate, the gear can come up. Great aircraft, this one. Love flying it. Probably my most popular aircraft. Well, the most popular aircraft in my hangar, one of my go-tos, particularly in the FS economy world, and we are actually flying an FS economy run here this morning. Getting my aircraft, this is one of mine that I own and offer to the community for rental, getting it back to its home base of Brisbane. Someone flew it down here to Mildura the other day and left it there, and well, there's a reason it's based in Brizzy. Lots and lots of work, FS economy dollars to be made, based out of Brizzy. We'll make a right turn at this point. Direct Igippa. Beautiful. There we go. Lovely time of the day in which to fly, particularly in real life. Enjoyed many an early morn flight back in the day. Around southeast Queensland, northern New South Wales, and other parts of the country, to be honest. We've kind of got a little bit distracted there, and we're going to cut our turn. In fact, what we'll do is we're just going to go direct to Alusu. We might go autopilot, yaw damper, autopilot, and nav mode. And away we go. Continue to accelerate. Now the problem that we have is that it's kind of holding the pitch that I selected. It's not what I really want to do, and we actually want to start climbing. 170 would be a nice climb rate, getting us up to an eventual cruise of 290. So we've taken the shortcut there. Direct Alusu. There we go. All good. Folks, I'll continue the climb up to 290, as I said, and I'll join you again in the cruise. I'll talk about what I learned about fixing this mod to get it to work after SimObjects 9 broke it, and then we'll also talk about some of those recent aircraft releases that are getting a lot of press. Alright, in that beautiful country, eh? We're kind of just passing over the head the series of lakes, and there are many of them. Some of them pretty decent size, although they look a little dry here at the moment. The lakes that sort of sit between Mildura and Ivanhoe, if you're familiar with this part of the world, folks. It's, even if you're not, gorgeous country, isn't it, eh? So beautifully represented here in our sim. Isn't this just a beautiful vista? Look at that. Lovely. Is there a place you'd rather be? Well, probably. Rather be in a place where I have a lot of money and unlimited time. A bevy of bevies. Yeah. Anyway, folks, shall we look at how to get this mod to work after SimObjects 9? Let's do that. Alright, so I hope this works as an explanation, folks. What you're seeing on your screen right now is the same thing I'm seeing, funnily enough, which is two windows. The one on the left is the stock TBM 930 folder structure, or at least the model folder within the Asobo TBM 930. Okay, now there's one file there that you need to copy across into the mod model folder, which is appearing on the right hand side of your screen. So as I'm saying these words, I will actually put something in the edit, in post, as the cool kids say, to actually show you exactly what file I'm talking about. But it's one of the 3D object files, the TBM 930 interior LOD00. Copy that from the stock model into the mod model on the right hand side. And as you can see, I kept the modded model file just for reference, and put it a underscore mod in the file name just for my own information. But it's that one file. Now what that does is allow you, I'll get rid of those, so it changes the interior model, surprisingly enough, and what it does is it allows you to start the aircraft as you would expect. If you run with the mod, the pure mod, after SimObjects 9, you won't be able to get the aircraft started. At least that was my experience, if you want to follow a proper process. I think this sort of Control-E, auto start thing still works regardless, but I kind of like to go through the little process here because it's straightforward, doesn't take me long, and I'm pretty used to it by now. So it'll allow you to start the aircraft because all of the click spots work, except you lose something. You lose something kind of important. What you'll notice here is that I'm flying solo, folks. Now, she hasn't left me. As far as I'm aware, we're still together, Jude and I. Although, it's Jude. You never really know where you stand. She keeps you on your toes, right? She keeps them. She treats you mean to keep you keen, right? So what doesn't work is the little click spot down here where you could show Jude. What happens is you see the belt, right? So I think that's in the sort of the stock model, and when you click that button, what you should be seeing there is your co-pilot. And my co-pilot, of course, is Jude. So that doesn't work. Okay, so when you apply this fix, you're going to lose that functionality, which is a little bit disappointing. I really enjoy Jude's company. However, beggars can't be choosers, and this fix at least allows you to fly this aircraft after SimObjects 9 and get all the other good stuff that Mr. Muggs built into the mod. So I hope that helps. If you like flying this aircraft and you find yourself a little bit frustrated by not being able to fly it after SimObjects 9, this should allow you to do so. Alright, so things are going swimmingly well. I mean, look at this. 348 knots over the ground, folks. Tassing 312 and 348. I mean, it's helped by a almost 100 knot westerly breeze. The old jet stream is blowing today. That's fantastic, though. Single engine turboprop, can carry 7 packs. Cruises up here, and the I think it can get to 310. I think it's max out, but fantastic. Love the aeroplane. I mentioned at the start that I've been playing with the NVidia filters, right? So there's plenty of videos around about this by now, not just in the context of flight sim. It kind of works with a whole lot of games, right? Yes, by implication, I just refer to the Microsoft Flight Sim as a game, folks. If you get offended at that, you're hanging on too tight. The NVIDIA filters can change the look of the game, including this one. They're activated if you've got an NVIDIA card and you've got the GeForce Experience thing downloaded, and I know there's a bit of consternation within the community about that, bloatware and all that sort of stuff. I don't want to get into that, folks. I really don't. I've got the GeForce Experience thing currently installed, mainly to explore these filters. And once you've got it installed, if you press Alt F3, you get this pop-up window called Game Filter. Now you can set 3 presets. I know I've talked about this in another video. Okay, so I'm going to try not to labour the point. There's 3 presets. I'm currently running with preset 2, which is what I call my active preset. Right, so that's the visual that you're seeing here right now. If I switch the filter off, this is what the default sim looks like on my rig. It's kind of a little bit dull. Now, it looks duller to me now because I've been running with this filter, so there's a bit of, that. I kind of got used to it, and I kind of like the way that the default sim is. It was really quite okay with me. This filter has given me a sort of a different perspective. So that's what it looks like, the default sim off. Actually, let's go outside and show you what it looks like. So that's the default sim. It's pretty bloody good, I gotta say. Right? But this is what it looks like with the filters applied. So back to Alt F3, here we go. That's it off. Now, this is what it looks like with a little bit of cooling, right? So the default sim with a cooler color is my preset number 1. So the difference between them, there. So it's just making it cooler. That's all it does. My preset number 2 takes that a bit further and brightens it up. Adds some brightness contrast, changes some color, and changes some details. Now, this is a work in progress for me. I literally change this every time I go flying, just to experiment, because I can. And so my settings here are applicable to my rig and my preferences, and my eyesight may not be, it isn't good, right? So I'm trying to find something that looks okay to me, and that's what these filters do. It allows you to personalize, to customize, and yeah, worth exploring if you've got the NVidia card and you're prepared to run the GeForce Experience thing, right? And I know some people have issues with that. But these are my settings for what they're worth as at right now, folks. So I've applied a brightness and contrast, some exposure, some contrast, highlights, shadows, and gamma. Like I said, I literally change that every single flight just to explore, particularly these longer flights. Color, I've made things a little bit cooler. Added some tint, color, and intensity. There's the temperature change, make it cooler. Added some vibrance for what it's worth. And then in the details, I've got a very slight sharpen. I've added some clarity. I've added HDR toning, which took a while for my eyes to adjust to. And I've taken all the bloom off. Right? It makes quite a big difference in the cockpit. Let's go back inside. Right, so this is running with the preset, my custom preset, which is like that. If I turn it off, the cockpit gets quite dull, I find. It sort of brightens it up for me, and it helps me to have better clarity, I suppose. So game filters by NVidia. That's for what it's worth. That's what I wanted to throw in to this video. Worth exploring. Have a play. We've all got different preferences. The world of simulation allows us to explore those preferences.
Hello folks, from the flight deck. Well, actually no, I'm not on the flight deck. I'm currently kind of positioned above and behind the aeroplane at this time. Imagine if you heard that sort of thing in real life. You know, the cruise PA that the El Capitan gives from the flight deck. You know, the weather report and all that sort of stuff. And you heard someone say, "Folks, I'm currently levitating above and behind the aircraft at this time. I hope you're enjoying your stale peanuts and weak as piss OJ." Folks, I'm sorry. We're about an hour out. Yeah, about an hour. We're starting to see some weather paint here on the display. As we head towards Brisbane. So basically some weather hovering over the border between Queensland and New South Wales as we make a turn. Thanks, Georgie. It's been a lovely run to this point. Although I experienced a major shake, like a huge hit of sort of turbulence, which threw the aircraft around a bit. Lasted for a couple of seconds, and then it's been this just beautiful smooth conditions. I don't know what that was about. I thought, have we gone through a bit of shear or something, but didn't notice much of a change in terms of the wind direction or speed. And Georgie held his nerve and continued flying on autopilot, so it's just weird. It was just a strange occurrence. I know people have reported different things with turbulence after Sim Update 9. I personally haven't experienced too much of a problem. But anyway, folks, there's been a couple of big releases in the aircraft world for this sim in the last couple of weeks, hasn't there? I speak of the BAE 146 by Just Flight, whatever that's retailing for, quite a bit of coin. Probably won't see that on my channel. Not that anyone would be particularly disappointed, because there are thousands of videos featuring that aircraft, and there will be thousands of videos featuring the other aircraft that I choose to mention, and that is the Milviz Cessna 310, which was released, I think, yesterday, my time, to general acclaim, from what I can tell. Plenty of videos already appearing. There was a few appearing, sort of pre-release of that as well. So many channels, flight simulation channels now, isn't there? Yeah, extraordinary. You perhaps to the point where it's a little bit oversaturation. I don't know. Am I contributing towards that? I probably am. But look, it takes all sorts. Everyone's got different styles. Everyone has different sort of approaches, and yeah. So I guess there's a market for everyone. But some of those YouTube content creators in the flight simulation space are doing pretty bloody well for themselves in terms of subscriber count and likes and views, and some of them must be making pretty bloody good coin. Particularly those that are into the streaming caper, which to me, and I've been asked this question before, would I ever consider a stream? The answer is no. Well, I'm not going to say I'd never consider it, but I don't like the format, and I couldn't realistically provide a stream of suitable quality, folks. But it's mainly due to the format. I just don't enjoy watching streams at all. So no, I don't think I'll be doing it. But those two aircraft that I mentioned, both look fantastic. BAE 146, really well modded by Just Flight. Looks a treat. Yeah, really nice offering in the sim. And the Cessna 310, which I've been kind of looking forward to, and I may pick it up at some point. It just won't be in the near future. Disposable income extremely limited, and I've got a Cessna twin in this sim, being the Chancellor 414, the fly simware, which is currently in beta. Still, is it? I'm not sure. I haven't sort of kept up with it the last couple of weeks. Don't know what version it's up to, but I kind of enjoy flying that. I don't think I have a need for another Cessna twin, as good as the Milviz bird might be. What I really like about what Milviz are doing is they're pushing things forward with some of the stuff they build into that 310. So regardless of the aeroplane and whether I pick it up personally or not, I like what they're doing, and I hope it pushes other developers to sort of push the boundaries, and yeah, I like that. I hope that shows other developers what's possible, and then we start to see some competition, and it raises the bar for everyone. What it probably will do is raise the price, and the add-ons are getting more expensive in general. There is still some absolute great value to be had. Don't get me wrong, and I think we should thank developers for that, where they price accordingly. But some of these add-ons are starting to get a little bit exy, and we all have a choice to make in how we spend our dollars. But congrats to Milviz and to Just Flight for raising the bar and releasing some quality add-ons into the community. Folks, I'll join you next for the approach into Brisbane, expecting instrument conditions, but we'll see. We'll see when we get there. We'll see you for that portion in the next segment. All right, well on the descent now, folks, down through 15,000. Flying an instrument approach, I'm kind of regretting it because the approach is going to take us well to the north Brizzy, all the way to Bribey Island, which is down here. Let me zoom that for you. This is Bribey Island here. So it's got us flying an instrument approach, an ILS down to 19 right in Brisbane. Yeah, all the way to the sort of southern end of Bribey, and then they're going to hang a right, chuck a Yui, and then over the water for a long ass final approach down to 19 right. Expecting instrument conditions in Brisbane. Not so sure that it actually will be instrument conditions in Brisbane. Looks like we've got an aircraft there on final for one of the 19s. We could have made a visual approach, but anyway, I'll leave it as is. Look, if this was someone else's aircraft in FS Economy and I was paying them rent, I'd take a shortcut. But I'm paying myself the rent, so why don't I just enjoy this wonderful experience? Don't get to sim as often as I like at the moment, so might as well enjoy it while I've got the opportunity. Folks, I'll see you for the final approach sometime later today. Alright folks, the final approach, runway 19er left. I thought we plugged in 19er right, but apparently not. We're just going to hand fly this ILS. Probably do a pretty ordinary job of it. That's a nice little rainbow out the front though, isn't it? Something to look at. We're a little high, a little above the glide slope at the moment. Kind of on the localizer-ish. Going alright. Lost vis, lost side of the runway. Hopefully we will get it before too long. We do have other traffic around us, so we are getting quite a few TCAS alerts and things. And we'll take gear in a bit. We're coming back onto the glide slope. We're losing the localizer a little bit. Always a challenge when you haven't hand flown an ILS for a bit. But I reckon even if I hand flew one every day of my life, I'd find it a challenge. Only long ass approach down here today. Been in the air for a while. Anyway, we might take gear because we can and probably because we should. Gear's sorted. Looks like we've got a quartering tailwind. It's pretty light though. It is forecast to be 250 when we get to the runway. Pretty much on the glide now and just to the left of the localizer. We're seeing some coastline come into view. Hopefully we'll get visual here before too much longer. Just take this opportunity to thank you for your company, folks, and appreciate the support. I hope wherever you are in the world you are safe and well and you're enjoying your simming. Really important to enjoy what you're doing, whatever it is. Fly what you want, where you want, how you want. Just make sure you enjoy it, because life is kind of short. And if you're experiencing some tough times, like many people around the world are, including some of my countrymen, remember that tough times don't last, folks, but tough people do. A little bit of motivation there on short final to sort of finish this video. We are now visual. We're slowing down to our approach speed. Likes to fly in at about 85. The TBM, and that's what we're going to be doing. Slightly low now, just under the slope. That's beautiful. Beautifully represented here in the sim. Been an enjoyable flight. It's slightly longer than forecast. 19 left, Brisbane International, folks. Crosswind from the right hand side. And we're on, even if it was a little bit bouncy, a little bit squirrely there on our rollout as well. We can probably get off at this first taxiway, I reckon.
And we're going to get off to the left just for something different, because everyone else goes to the right towards the main terminal. I'm going to go over here where the maintenance facilities are. Folks, I'm not sure when I'll be posting another video, and I don't know what that video will contain, but I will see you at some point in the future. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for your company.